Yet another Fairgrinds dialogue. This is, my name is Wade Rafke, and over the last 6 months we've been managing Fairgrinds Coffeehouse. And one of the things we established was what we're calling the Fairgrinds dialogue. I invited Vicki, who's a professor of communications and media studies at Tulane University, and I warned her, we never know on these dialogues whether it's going to be 2 or 3 of us or 50. It's one of these. It's a pilot, it's an experiment within the sort of larger Fairgrinds community. Just starting, your perfect timing.
Right.
But the intention of these dialogues is to invite different people who may have something to say about New Orleans or a topic that's of interest or be in town or whatever that inspires some amount of adult education for the rest of us and some lively discussion, questions, points of view, answers, or whatever. Previous speakers have included another professor at Tulane who is an expert on sports law during the Hornets lockout to talk about what that might mean, right? And it turned out he came right as the strike was ending, so it was fascinating.
So we need him back now.
Well, yeah, I don't think we want to hear what he says. Yeah, we may have to wait until the Saint season. And then we had a very interesting, we had Occupy once to tell us what they were about. That was an interesting 50 people one night. We had another series of interesting discussions about a historical event. A woman wrote a book who's a frequent customer about something that happened in 1970 in Desire Housing Project with the Panthers and the police, and miraculously no one was killed, but it was fascinating. She brought some of the original participants, a filmmaker, a guy who worked for the city, and it was very interesting. And this will be of a piece with that. Certainly, you can't have lived in New Orleans over the last year or two, and depending on what neighborhoods, not have moved your car or gotten out of the way for some screening of Treme. I actually live in Bywater, and I never understand why they're not doing more filming in Treme, because it seems like every other day I'm moving the truck, you know, for one thing or another, including a very exciting car race and somebody gets killed. Like, this is, I can tell you, this is the advance, because they blocked the whole area around what used to be Frederick Douglass High School, near where we live. So Treme has been part of the community, and I ran into Vicki because she happened to read a blog I did on Treme, which was, you know, it was sort of a standard rant that happened to be in my mind from watching Treme that day, and it turned out she'd actually studied this and edits a journal that she'll may mention again that was doing a special issue on Treme because it's something of interest to scholars internationally. So I kept that in mind. Once we started these, Vicki was one of the first people I reached out to, and I said, okay, you know, you got me once, now I'm getting you. Here's payback, which is I'd love for you to come and just say whatever's on your mind, and we'll see what other people are thinking, and have fun.
You say payback, I say reciprocity.
Reciprocity. That's a mutual sharing.
Well, thank you for coming, and I'm hoping that this won't be me giving a formal lecture. I'll talk a little bit about the issue that I put together for the journal that I edit called Television and New Media, which is an international journal that has a long track record of talking about television and its impact on society. So I'm hoping that then, you know, I'll say a few things and then we can kind of open it up for a discussion, because actually part of my interest in Treme is what New Orleanians think about the series. And Wade has I was smiling as he was talking about, you know, moving the truck, because one of the things I'm very interested in is the way that not just Treme, but film companies in general have privatized our public spaces, right? They actually, you know, can buy public streets and close them off, and parks and neutral grounds, and our whole experience of our public space, I believe, is shaped by the ways that the film industry colonizes it, to say, you know, in the way that they did Hollywood in the 1920s. So